All right. Well, getting back to the being St. Patrick's Day and all.
Yeah.
And since we got the blessing from Tom, that's okay to talk about it.
All right, good.
Demon has chosen to jump into contributions.
Okay.
And she sent over a story.
All right.
Controversial doctor asked to come to Ireland to instruct trainees how to give blowjobs.
Okay.
An Irish-educated doctor has made headlines across the world after she told women trainees that it would be better for their careers to comply with sexual advances.
Oh, all right. I'm liking where this is going.
During an interview with ABC, Dr. Gabrielle McMullen,
Okay.
who was educated at Trinity College, said if you were approached for sex, the safest thing to do in terms of your career is comply with the request.
All right.
Speaking to Ray D'Arcy of RTE1 today, she explained how the career of one woman, Caroline, was destroyed after she took a case against the surgeon who assaulted her.
Okay.
She said that Carolyn launched a complaint with the College of Surgeons, and he then threatened her with failure, so she took the case to court.
Okay.
After 15 grueling days in which she was cross-examined and asked to describe the shape and the size of his penis, she won the case.
Okay.
So it was a moral victory, but after that, she was completely shunned by the non-surgical community.
Okay, go ahead.
When asked about her own experience, she said, I've been lucky enough that I've never been in such a position where such a man has had the control over my career. I would also say I am not particularly good looking, and good-looking girls fare worse because they get more attention of this kind.
Okay.
D'Arcy said, this is going to follow you around and haunt you for the rest of your life. The lady who encouraged her students to give blowjobs to senior surgeon... let me read this again. D'Arcy said, this is going to follow you around and haunt you for the rest of your life. The lady who encouraged her students to give blowjobs to senior surgeons, she responded, I received an email from someone in Ireland asking if I could perhaps come to Ireland and instruct the trainees how to give blowjobs because good Irish Catholic girls don't know how to do that.
Nice.
When asked what advice she would give women, she said, at the moment, the advice is difficult. She said that since she made the remark, 12 women have come forward anonymously in Australia and said exactly the same things have happened to them, but they're not prepared to give their names.
Okay.
We have to get rid of the culture where if you complain about sexual harassment, then you get punished. We have to somehow change things where you can make a complaint and have the man who is the one who is reprimanded for it. At the moment, men have no consequence for this.
Well, that's not true, but go ahead.
And that's it.
Well, how can you say men have no consequence for it? If you get caught with that, you're fired.
If you get caught.
Yeah, but if she takes him to court,
yeah.
You're going to tell me that the dude that told her to suck his dick that she sued didn't get fired?
It doesn't say exactly what happened to him. It just says that she won the case. That's all.
Which means he clearly got fired.
Right.
He had to be fired. There's no way can a company keep a guy that fucking forced a chick to suck his dick for a promotion. There's no way they can keep him employed there. So he has a consequence. He got fired.
True.
There's no possible way that guy did not get fired.
Perhaps, but then this girl was kind of out of a job because now she's labeled as, you know, a tattletale, troublemaker, you know, whatever. So she just basically kissed her opportunity to work in that field goodbye.
in that field or in that office?
It's hard to say because you just don't know who knows who and who says what and, what follows you around.
Do you really? What was her name?
I got off the story.
Okay, whatever her name is. We'll call her Mary
Caroline.
Smith.
Caroline.
All right, do you think that when Caroline goes to the next hospital down the street, that the HR person does a search and says, oh, wait a minute, that's Caroline from the blowjob case? Do you really think that's what happens?
Well, again, I don't know what happens. I mean, there's different takes on how, again, there's in different fields of work, be it doctors, be it lawyers, be it whatever. It just seems like there's this unspoken code, I guess.
Yeah.
And that if you've breached that, I don't know what you want to call it, that wall of protection, you sort of get banished from it if people know who you are.
I guess, but you know what, though? This kind of shit, I mean, if she's on TV and making news and on, national news and one thing, that's one thing. Some local bullshit story like this, no one's going to know this.
Well,
chick.
perhaps, but she would definitely have to relocate.
Maybe.
I don't know how far away, but, if it's like you said, if it's a local story, and if it made like local news or the papers or something like that.
Yeah.
And she went from, let's say Akron General Hospital to Barberton Hospital. You don't think people in Barberton heard about the Akron case?
Probably, maybe not.
Yeah, but again, and I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that I do know that these unspoken agreements or whatever exist among that, among that elite, I guess.
Yeah. See, I just think that people overblow the importance of themselves. Just like I look at this as just like social media. This bitch is trying to make more out of it than it is.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't for a minute think that her career is impacted at all by this damn court case. She could go and get another gig if she's qualified.
I suppose.
Just like, dude, all the heinous shit that we say on the show, right?
Right.
Okay, we say all this different shit on the show. You just recently went through a job search. Did any one of you, did anybody that you talked to or interviewed with or whatever say to you, are you the same guy that fucking said nigger on the Classic Metal show?
Not at all.
No one. And there's 1,000 different videos of us out there.
Sure there are.
So this whole theory of everything you do and say is at the top of everybody else's fucking mind is very minuscule. It's if some HR person is really, really diligent, they might go into really digging into a person. But the average company, especially a hospital or something like that, they're going to look at one or two things. They're going to look at your police record. They might look at your credit. And then they're going to say, okay, you're qualified, and your college records. They're going to make sure you're qualified. They're going to make sure there's no warrants, and they're going to make sure that you haven't, that you don't have check fraud or some shit pending.
Right.
And then they're going to say, okay, come on in. They're not going to be looking for the blowjob case.
Well, I can tell you that a situation did happen to me.
Okay.
About 8 years ago? No, let's see here. 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Right. Remember when I was going out to California for that one business? The medical business. Yeah, exactly. Well, the guy that owned that, when we first met him, when we were first gotten into, we're getting to know him and gotten into business and stuff, he was more or less running down his resume, more or less, all the things that he were involved with.
Okay.
And at some point along the way, he got involved with some gal, some woman who thought he believed that she had a shot at being a performer or vocalist.
Okay.
Female performer, whatever. And so I don't know if he was involved with her on a personal level or not. He didn't really elaborate. But he more or less bankrolled her career.
Okay.
And she cut a record and this and that. And he basically was the guy who put the money up behind it.
Wasn't Katy Perry, was it?
No. I mean, I don't know who it was. He was just telling the story about, just, I don't know if it was a boastful thing on his end or if he was just talking about it in passing or, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. But he knew nothing about myself.
Sure.
And he was not aware of my history with the classic metal show or my history with music or the bands or different artists, etc.
Okay.
And after he had gone through this whole, I guess it was kind of crowing about his accomplishments.
Yeah.
The next time that I came out, which was, I don't remember, about a month later,
mm-hmm.
He and his brother had done these Google searches on me.
Yeah.
And did find out who I was or what I did.
Right.
And when I went back out there,
mm-hmm.
he was just like, are you the same guy that does this show? And are these pictures of you with these different artists and this and that? And I go, yep, that's me. And you let me just go on and on about, supporting this girl and making a record and this and that. And you knew all about this business and you didn't say a word about it. So it was almost like I embarrassed him because he was shooting off his mouth about something or almost being braggadocious about it.
Right. And you just let him go.
And I let him go and I didn't say a word about it.
Right.
But then he found out what my credentials were via a Google search or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was embarrassed about it.
Was he making up a bunch of bullshit?
Well, I don't know because I wasn't there to say that, that's bullshit or whatever.
Right.
Because I don't even know who this girl was. He supposedly was bankrolling and whatever. But when he was talking about recording and getting a record deal for her and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
He just assumed that I was much in the know about that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I never said a word about it.
Nice.
And so then when he did find out who I was, then he was almost mad about it. It's like, I can't believe that you sat there and didn't say a word about this.
Right.
It's just like, well, it wasn't relevant.
That is funny.
Yeah. So one time that actually did happen to me though.
So I guess it could happen.
It could happen. There is an off chance that it could happen. And I know that because obviously it happened to me.
Sure.
But then he was mad about it.
Right. But I don't think day to day, though. I don't think that's a huge concern.
No, I don't think so either.
So I think this lady's just talking out her ass.
Perhaps.
She's looking for oh, poor me syndrome. You go, girl.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to do that.
Sure.
Shut up.
But until, this situation is remedied, this quote unquote controversial doctor just says, well, just give into it and give him a blowjob.
Yeah. And meanwhile, if she would have just done that, she'd probably be the fucking VP of personnel right now.
Perhaps she would.
Making $250,000 a year
there
instead of fucking sitting at home ironing her husband's pants. Fucking dummy.
If you'd just blown him, you would have been in better shape.
I mean, what's 15 minutes of your time?
Yeah, even if that long.
Yeah, probably not. This doctor, if he's begging for blowjobs in the office, there's probably a 2-minute job. He's not getting much.
Right. Well, we all know that a blowjob, or have you heard women or people on like goofy TV shows or something refer to it as a blowy?
I've heard it, but that's about as unappealing as it gets.
I know. Are you telling me you gave him a blowy?
Yeah.
A blowy.
A blowy.
Right.
No. Please don't say that to me.